Hey folks, Quillian here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Victoria 3 as Japan. We are trying to, well, at some point get out of the Japanese shogunate. Hopefully we can get away from the shoguns running the country as aggressively as they are. We can get this honorable restoration going either through a revolution or maybe we manage to do it peacefully. I don't know if that's better or not. I mean, I assume civil war is probably not great for our economy overall. It's certainly faster to flip things, but we will see. Economy, of course, is going to be something we're constantly concerned about. We actually are 8th in the world for GDP, although with our slightly less than great tech rate, it wouldn't surprise me if that fell off a little, but we're going to see what we can do. One of the things I'm going to do, and I know I just queued up a bunch of stuff probably at the end of the last episode, is I'm going to trim this back a little. We are working on that sulfur mine, and I think we needed one for something. We are currently working on intensive agriculture. Yeah, so we're setting this up, and we're going to need the sulfur to feed into a fertilizer plant, and that's going to be okay. I'm going to pull back there. Oh, and because the idea is I want to try to weave in so that we're constantly building either a university or a government office, I think. But the rest of it is going to have to continue to be farming so that we can take advantage of the investment pool and not tank our bank account too much. The fact we have a positive ratio here means I can probably support more than one at a time. Although as soon as this rice farm finishes, then we'll be putting a bunch more construction in the sulfur mines, which is going to come out of our pocketbook. So that might work out okay. We'll see. I mean, obviously, like running a positive balance and sitting on positive money is a waste. Positive money does nothing for you. Being negative is less than ideal because you are paying interest. But if we can keep right around the zero mark, that's kind of the ideal. And of course, as I always say, going into debt a little bit is fine if it's a net growth to your economy, but we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. So my idea here is let's take a look at the market and maybe very carefully and slowly build things up. There's a demand for fruit. Fruit's a little awkward though because it's the wheat and rice farms, and I suspect our rice price. Do we want to add it to the tracker? What's the easiest way to do that? If I do this and do this, we get to the local rice price, which I guess is just grain, actually. So, yeah, we have a wicked surplus of grain, and we're already on the fig orchards. Like, there's nothing to do over there. Hey, would this make more money if we got rid of this? It would, although we'd produce less of everything. It would actually kill off more fruit than the grain itself. Although it would fix the sugar price. The building would be more profitable. We'd also hire more people. You know what? I'm going to pull back on the ox-powered plow over here, which normally feels like a no-brainer, but we're still sitting on tons of peasants over here. So our employment is cheap, and bringing people out of subsistence farms and into regular agriculture should help maintain our standard of living. Okay, so I'm still going to say that there's no fix, unfortunately, for our fruit deficit over here. All right, and you know, we still have isolationism because it would be nice to improve that just to help our needs. Is there anything consuming this right now? No, it's just being consumed by hops. Okay. What's next? Well, we still have a shortage of iron. I mean, not tragically so, but it's there. Also meat. Actually, you know what? I think, and I may have already had that, but I think this is a good idea because our ranchers will also be producing some of our fertilizer. So currently we have a shortage of 97. When we switch over to, what is it called? When we switch over to increased wool gathering, it will decrease the amount of meat being produced. So we can actually go above 97. And of course, this is a good that our population will appreciate having around. I mean, the job seekers are mostly going to be peasants right now, so I think this is kind of an equivalent display currently. We have more earnings here, probably because there is no ranch in these areas, so the local price is a little higher. So we can build 5 of these for the 97 meat. And again, later, it's actually, once we switch modes, then we'll need even more meat, so I could probably afford to build 6 or 7 in preparation for things. Again, economy of scale, but all right, let me click here. I'm going to build 5 there. And then I will throw in a couple in Tohoku. Okay, good. So we have agriculture loaded in our queue. So then, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave in to try to make it so that at any given point, we're building some government thing, which could be universities. We do have to get our freaking taxes taxing. Maybe I'll queue in those two, and then the idea is I can just alt-click at the top of the list whenever they're not building. Or if we just fit in, say, 2 agriculture in between each one. That might be a good ratio. Anyway, we'll finally go ahead and unpause. Hold on. No, there was one more thing I want to do. Politics, right now, government, illegitimate government. If we reform our government, we can bring the Buddhist monks into our government over here. If we do that, I suspect that means we can actually go to private school, though that is so difficult to pass. I think we're going to go to religious schools. It will give the devout more political strength. But right now, the intelligence would be nice, but I just don't think there's enough support here. Intelligentsia would endorse it, but I don't think there's any way for me to get them in the government. Yeah, we're going to go for religious schools because it's much more likely to pass, keep up the education, and again, we're trying to bring power to a group that's not the shogunate. I'm currently suppressing them, which is nice, and we are continuing to bolster the industrialists, which are still marginalized, but we're hoping to bring them into things because they're going to be our path to switching to a different economic system. Again, even interventionism would be huge for us. Just massive as a way to spend this on something other than farms all the time. Although these will continue to be fine for now. So, yeah, tech is going to be fine, and we're going to put a fertilizer plant as soon as that kicks in. And we could probably afford a couple of these. Maybe every other building can be something. Oh, okay. Higher learning. University throughput. The power of the intellectual would... Like, political strength of academics would boost the clout of the intelligentsia. Maybe I should do this. I mean, there's not a lot of universities, so the throughput boost isn't going to be that much. But I'm actually wondering if the political shakeup is going to be valuable. Because normally I'd probably just take a little bit of tech progression. Because we have so few universities, I don't think the throughput is going to generate that much tech. Nah. Let's take some static tech. Boost us towards the next level, please. Okay, slight deficit here while we're building 2 of these. And here we're going to go back to 1. Well, some in here. How much is our total construction? Oh, we are building 3. Well, yeah, no, 2.5. Okay, so it's a slight deficit when we're running 2.5 like this. Academic assistance. Oh, plus 20%. Yeah, you know what? I can take a hit on the university throughput because I don't think we've got that many universities, so I don't think that hurts too much. Hell, they may not even be fully employed. So that's going to be okay. Let's weave in... I still don't know. I mean, obviously we need a tech rate, but also I need to collect the taxes so that our economy doesn't trash itself. Maybe I'll alternate between the two. Alt university, and then we'll queue up another government office. I wonder if I should just alt-click every time we're just doing 2 ranches at a time, which is going to be signaled by our money going positive. Then I can just alt-click and add to the top of the queue. Okay, intensive agriculture is done. I am going to alt-click something right now. That is going to be... I'm assuming 1 fertilizer plant. Let's take a look. If we go into our building modes, so we definitely want to go to soil enriching. Although... Why is this going to produce less fruit and sugar? This produces more grain. But why does the fruit and sugar amount actually go down? Does that seem odd to anyone else? Increased wool gathering is kind of static on the money. Right now, it's because, well, it would tank the value of fabric, which is interesting. And the fertilizer wouldn't make any cash, but we're going to have a demand for fertilizer here. Because I'm assuming if some of this goes up. Why isn't it producing? So fruit is making 14 per. Oh, no, this is total, which is annoying. 14.4 fruit. 14.4 fruit. Is this just wrong? Is it possible that I just can't trust that value? It's weird that this wouldn't be considered profitable. Did I build too many rice plants? Normally, I feel like intensive agriculture is just a big net win. Anyway, we have to get our railways going. There's just no doubt about it. We're going to run into all kinds of infrastructure issues very, very soon. So we need to have that happen. And applications, dang it. I really want to fix the fruit thing. All right, if we're ignoring the fruit thing, and the meat thing is getting better here, what would be... Well, basically nothing. In terms of agriculture? Oh, a little bit of wine. We've got a minus 81. So let's go vineyard. How much is it going to build? Okay, so we can build 3 for about a break even. I guess I'm going to build a 4th one. And then continue to do the thing where we weave in. Like, let's continue to alternate. So our most populous state here, university. Oh, that was a government sector. That's, you know what, that's fine. Into university. Because then I can just bring this up. And just keep alternating these two. So we're running a slight deficit, but very manageable. What's our tax situation here? Middle of the line, some consumption. We could actually do more consumption, but I'd rather not. Discord with the rural folk. 15% enactment chance, yes, please. And then construction. We could use a little bit more iron. So let's throw it into Kanto over here. That's going to be fine. And then up, up, up. Same thing, because we have to pay for these. Arguably, we could support more construction, or maybe I don't, because we may be forced to do more direct government spending and a little less agriculture. Yeah. Okay. Consumption-based taxation. Is that... No, that's not the direction we want to go into. Hokkaido market access is low. Yeah, you have no infrastructure. Okay, here's one thing we could do. Switch this to this mode. You could go and get a port. Now, by default, a port doesn't produce infrastructure. But if you're on the cargo port mode, then you do. We do have a lot of coastal stuff. We actually might be able to make do without railways for longer than I expect. Now, this, I think, might cause a shortage of clippers. Weird that it doesn't actually show the... Oh, yeah, because of the plus minus. But this does consume clippers, and I don't think we're producing any. Shipyards produce clippers, I think. Oh, no, Kyushu does. Although we probably need a little bit more. Biggest earnings would be here. Okay, let me throw that in at the bottom of the queue. This is starting to empty quickly. Oh, did the port get built already? You know what? Do we put it at the top to get more infrastructure overall? Oh, the port's built, but it wasn't hired. And yeah, the clipper price is quite high. So I will put it at the top. And yeah, our queue is coming to an end here. All right. We need a ton more universities. We need a ton more government stuff. Maybe the thing to do is I'll start with government because in theory they'll pay for themselves. I'm going to slap 5 in there. I'm going to follow it up with a queue of 5 universities. We could put pauses in there, but what I can also do is if it's starting to get too low, is I can just alt-click some agriculture. Maybe that's the way we're going to try to manage this. Because we've got to bring ourselves out of this administrative black hole, as well as we got to pull ourselves out of the dark ages here with some universities. Now, religious schools, I mean, they'll increase education access, and I think a lot of that will translate to a higher literacy, which means we can support that many more universities. But yeah, let's get that going on. A little bit of warfare going on over here. Okay. Interesting. Shogunate is dropping in power. They're still powerful, so this isn't Kit King, but they're probably pretty close. Religious schools are a go. Mechanical tools have been unlocked. We're still going to move towards railways because I suspect we're still going to need that for some infrastructure support. But yeah, right now it's all positive, which is good, but that's about to become more of an issue. If we look at places sorted by infrastructure, well, Hokkaido doesn't have any population to care about necessarily. We could drop a little bit more here. I mean, the one thing with the ports is normally it's convoys, which we clearly don't need. Yeah, but we could cargo port you just to get you ready. I guess it changes the employment meter, but that'll give us a little bit more of that. I mean, we must still need railways, right? Am I wrong? Do we not need it as much as I thought? Because normally I'd be thinking a big part of the reason we need railways, obviously, is for the infrastructure, but we do have an out with the ports. The other thing is to manage transportation costs. But one of the things is we've been, my last playthrough that I was playing with Belgium, and population control was a big issue, like number of workers available. So we were highly incentivized and motivated to enable rail transportation in a lot of these places to free up laborers. But right now, we're kind of okay with having a lot of extra laborers because we need to employ the peasants. Well, this is going to send the meat to be quite low. This is going to be profitable despite shooting up the tools consumption. Okay, we're going to do this, and I suspect what we want to do is immediately go, and probably with some alt-clicking. Unless, did we unlock a new tool mode? This is also going to consume more tools. Oh, tooling workshop. Oh, steel tools, but we don't have a steel industry yet. Paper price. We are going to consume more paper. We're going to want to switch over to sulfite pulping soon, but we don't need to do that yet. We don't have the coal over here either. I think I do want to run free churches here. Less clergies, more clerks. I think that's the right kind of move that we want. Okay. I'm going to alt-click one tool workshop because we are going to need that. And yeah, we do have to get ready for a steel industry. If I recall correctly, we don't have one place that has both iron and coal. I'm wondering the thing to do is just to build it in our most popular states. But if you don't have either one of those, and you do not, then maybe that doesn't make any sense. Iron here, 1.1 million. Okay, maybe Kanto. We'll start you off with just one steel mill. And yeah, if we can convert over the tools to use steel, I think that's going to be a pretty big win. We've got an agitated elected bureaucrats. That's fine. Skip over appointed bureaucrats completely, moving directly to elected. Although appointed bureaucrats does give us increased tax capacity. The bureaucracy cost actually might not be a problem. Because normally this is quite good, but I think because we have to build so many government offices to deal with our taxation issue, we're going to end up with an excess of bureaucracy. If anything, I think we want the appointed, even though it's a little more difficult to do. The Shogunate oppose it, but they're not marginalized by it. There's a big opposition. I think I kind of want the appointed bureaucrats. I don't know what group bureaucrats normally belong to. I want this one for the tax base. Oh, what if we delayed railway? I know, it's insane, but for Central Archive. I think we can. I think we can support our infrastructure with ports for a little bit. It feels nuts to me, because it's normally such a priority, but I think it's the right way to go. Foreign manifesto, elected bureaucrats. Yeah, I kind of lower their support, increase their radicalism. I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but thematically it was the right answer. Oh, I guess the Shogunate aren't powerful anymore. We might make this transition peacefully, which is kind of nuts to me. Okay, we're still 8th overall for GDP, although we're flatlining a little bit, which makes me a bit unhappy. The standard of living is also flatline. That's Or maybe even dipping down. I mean, it was dipping down. That's not the ideal. We still have tons of loyalists right now, which is good. Okay, these basic prices are decent. Now, everything's coming out of just our pocketbook right now. Meat's still expensive. I guess we can still do that, especially, I suppose, because we produced a little less of it with that. We've got the slaughterhouse now. Yeah, I think we're going to plan some more ranches. Where am I looking? Dude, oh, livestock ranches there. Let me throw in 5 in the queue. Free government reform. Let's see here. What are we looking at? Do we have a reasonable option? Nah, this is the only one that keeps us above the 50 mark, so we're going to stick with this government. That's going to be okay. We've already moved to the consideration phase for appointed bureaucrats. That's going to be really helpful. We still have 55k unrealized taxes. Obviously, these universities aren't going to help with that, but we need to put them in at some point. Hopefully, this doesn't bankrupt the country to be building this for a little while. Although, if I'm going to be dipping into the negatives, then I can just move some of the livestock ranches up. But as long as this bar is still a little bit yellow, it's going to be okay. Stalled, enactment chance, enactment chance. I think this is going to be fine here. It's going to give us a setback, and it's going to slow down the enactment time, but increase the success. And that's usually where I like to go. Maybe I'm not right about that, but that's the way it is. I think we could have a very profitable clothing industry if we want to just sneak something in here. Again, I think I'd prefer spending the government funds on universities and tax offices, but there's no denying that this would be hugely profitable. Should probably plan one. Chogoku here would be the most profitable. This would also start to consume some of our fabric we do have an excess of. 10% enactment success chance. Yeah, let's do it. Pop attraction. Are you... Okay, so Samurai Intelligentsia. Yeah, this is fine. It's me or them. He of the bourgeoisie is sick of working with other people. Bourgeoisie -1 is actually totally fine. Although them losing popularity, again, we're trying to displace the shogunate, and at some point the monks are actually going to be a problem. They're gaining a ton of strength. These religious schools are certainly not going to be doing us any favors, so they might be the next issue. Although if we can use them to put forward a charity hospital, are we missing a tech? Oh yeah, we need medical degrees. Right. Okay. I mean, we've certainly gone up in innovation. That's good. Bureaucratic struggle. Spare no expense. We can afford a bureaucracy hit while this is running. Yeah. No, that's fine. We can't even get to the second level education here. Because, yeah, no, we can't afford it, but that's not what's actually locking us. We need more tech to unlock higher levels. And at some point, we need level 3 to be able to cancel this. And maybe we should focus on some social techs. That's going to help us get higher up there. Maybe that's really valuable. The art of doing nothing. Nope, this is fine. More success chance brings us up to 70. Okay. I don't mind that. No shortages on everything. Oh! Something we could bring in that someone pointed out. I was worried about, like, I really want to centralize my army as much as possible in Kansai here. It was pointed out by a viewer on the Discord, and I'm sorry I don't have your name ready off the top of my head, but I'd kind of forgotten about it until a second ago. You can expand this by one state. And yeah, and we can look at what state everyone is from. So if I go and say, just show me Kansai over here, and I don't think there's an easy way to just... Oh yeah, if I do this and make a new army, and I don't know, move someone over, as long as you're not part of the shogunate. I'm going to put you over here. Did it? There we go. Maybe I didn't hit that part. Confirm. So this second army, if we rename you, this, if we have a civil war, because it's in the capital, we should keep control of the capital. Therefore, we should keep control over these troops. And conversely, These guys here are less likely to be loyal. Now, the ones next to the capital, so Chubu and Chogoku, I think are probably statistically more likely to stay loyal. So what we might want to do is move these guys over here, have another army. For the one-aways. So these guys here are the one-away army. So fairly likely. And then everyone here in the first Japanese army, we can confirm it by checking the states over here. These are further away and are more likely to become traitorous. And so if we want to disband anything, these would be the pick. And it might not be a bad idea. I mean, we'd save a little bit of money on our military fund. Maybe I won't disband it completely, but let's have it like this. Now, I don't really think we're cruising for a civil war right now, but I think that's probably a fine change. And the game's really quiet right now. Is it just me? It's definitely unmuted. Maybe I just had my volume low. Open market diplomatic play against us. They're not offering the force. So they want us to move out of being isolationists. I think this would force us into free trade. Now, when I did my test runs as Japan, I think they on their end clicked the force check mark to give me the option to say that immediately. Now, I will be able to give in once we're done the opening play. How much of an issue would it be? In fact, would it be entirely desirable? So with isolationism, we are suffering from negative technology spread. We do get a lot of extra authority, tons more. On free trade, then our trade routes are competitive and cost less in bureaucracy, and we can trade a lot more with it, and it eliminates the technology penalty. I like the idea of course building everything from scratch, but it might in fact make a lot of sense for us to acquiesce to this. Hopefully it doesn't hurt us with people bringing goods in and out. Like, are they just gonna... I mean, shouldn't this just be a good, positive moneymaker for us? It's hard, because in most of my playthroughs, I'm like, well, free trade is good. Now I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe we'll go to protectionism and we'll just enjoy some 30% tariffs or something like that, but... I mean, we can throw a force recognition on the other side. Winning... I mean, all we have to do is repel a naval invasion, but we do have the basic... I think we just give in to this one. Sure. All right, we now have free trade. I wonder if that was triggered by me disbanding my army, and they were like, all of a sudden, oh, this person dropped below a threshold. Okay, well, we can't possibly import enough paper to make a difference. Oh, hold on. I don't think we're on the most aggressive paper mode. We were waiting till there was a need. Now there's a need. This is going to generate more of a need for sulfur. I probably can't check the sulfur shortage quite yet, just because it probably hasn't recalculated. There you go. Minus 80. That'll create 20. So we actually do need more sulfur mines. Now, we could also consider importing some sulfur. We could import it from the British market. Well, let's do the American market. It's much more productive. It's not the complete shortage. It's not complete deficit, but it should eliminate the shortage once they arrive. Now we've got a coal shortage. Powder... Why did this start immediately? Are people trading our coal? So this shows the trade routes I'm running. This all show trade routes that people are running with me. So no one's consuming coal. What did I do to just boost my coal consumption? Oh, my steel mill probably finished. That's probably what just happened. All right, let's get a coal mine going on in here. Opening of Japan. We must adapt to new circumstances. So this kills shogunate political strength. So it's going to be really easy to do honorable restoration at this point. Our emperor gets a huge penalty to popularity, which, yeah, translates to a massive authority penalty. I don't know if that we have to suppress the shogunate anymore, although I definitely don't want them sneaking back into power. That would be bad. Road maintenance in Kanto. That's not Kanto. Right over here. Let's cancel that. There you go. Go positive. Suspect we'll need more than one coal mine. What's our shortage on coal? Oh, no. It's just the tiniest trickle. Okay, we'll still get you set up because we still want the steel mills. Because one thing that would be nice is switching... Oh, point of bureaucrats. Good, good, good. Is switching our tool manufacturers over to steel. Now, this is going to consume a total of 162 steel. So we really need more of these. Now, these aren't going to be profitable, but the idea is they're going to be rich. This doesn't tell us the goods produced per. For some reason, just telling us the current amount. I guess we can mouse down here and we can see that with our tech, we can produce 90 steel per one of these. So I think if we just build one more. Oh, Kanto. Yeah, okay, hold on. Kanto's going to need some ports, but I'm going to build another one there. Kanto needs 14 infrastructure, which we're going to do on the port side, especially since we can use the trade. So 1, 2, oh, hold on. Let me alt click. 1, 2, 3. That's going to be 15 infrastructure from ports. Get that in there, fix that, make sure goods can move around. And yeah, temporarily, if anyone's got like, yeah, any whatsoever, we'll bring in some British coal. You wanted to open markets to us? Cool, we'll do that. So we'll just do this to eliminate the shortage penalty and then probably look to cancel that. I think one thing we might do, at the start of every episode, we might go and like cancel most, if not all, trade routes, reevaluate where we're at, build some things internally, and then reset up the trade routes. Oh, there we go. So the United States is importing some of our liquor and sending us paper, whether we want it or not. Might be fine. I think we did have cheap liquor and we do have expensive paper. It's obviously competing with some of our industries. But in theory, we still have fairly cheap labor. Okay, is it just me? This just dropped a bunch. Did this drop when our borders opened? And if so, why? Also, GDP dropped, although not at exactly the same time. Did it coincide with the borders opening? But why would it? There's not that much trade happening. Now, minimum accepted. So the lower strata is definitely the one that is having maybe the biggest issue. They have 63% excess. Goes towards increasing the average standard of living for these pops. I'm assuming it must be peasants specifically that are having issues. Some people would like some oil. Can we get it from our whaling stations? Is that a mode? Oh! Well, let's switch you to whaling fleet, which is going to need clippers, but in theory we're producing some clippers. Yeah, bring down the price of oil. I mean, again, this is the local price. It'll also affect the market as a whole, but that's something some of these guys complain about. I think mostly we just need to bring a bunch more peasants out. I wonder, is there any chance people are emigrating? I mean, population is generally going up. Okay, we're slightly going to debt. It would be very nice to sneak in some more plantation. At this point, I think I'm willing, as long as it's got any kind of positive earnings planned, we're going to throw it in here. And in fact, I might make sure... Ooh, that's quite a big moneymaker. There you go. Yeah, run positive for now because we've got a little bit of a deficit, and I really don't want to pay taxes. Although, let's make sure this port is getting built. I think it was still getting built, although I guess at only half rate. By doing this, we'll go at full rate. That's the last one we need in Kanto, which in theory, once they get hired up, is producing enough infrastructure to cover this. So we got one more building, which is +5, and I think there's still some hiring going on. Okay, well, we got to put a cut in here. We are starting to navigate the transition from isolationist shogunate Japan into whatever the future will bring. We're not isolationists anymore, sort of by force. And it's not going to be too long, maybe another 7 years over here, based on this bar, before we complete honorable restoration, which is going to change a lot of things about our government structure and trigger some more events. Shogunate is down to 7.8. We could probably stop suppressing them if we wanted more authority, which is mostly if we wanted to pass some laws faster. Any chance of an interesting government change? Not currently. We got our professional army. I mean, I still want private schools, but so that, yeah, the next big issue is going to be the religious peeps and what we might do there. National Guard. I mean, there's no demand for it, which is fine. Is there a demand for anything? Elected bureaucrats, again, would be sort of fine, but I'm enjoying the tax thing. We still have 60K in unrealized taxes. My God. How's your university? I mean, we've certainly made some progress there. Maybe we do have to do some deficit spending for a while. I suppose one of the things, if I stopped suppressing the shogunate, then I could add some more consumption taxes. Stick to some of the sin taxes, tobacco and wine. Maybe. Anyway, we'll put a cut in here. Folks, thanks for watching another episode. I'm really hoping we keep, you know, green line go up, economy go burr, if we can. I'm a little worried, but we'll see. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.